Everyone wants to be a genius. We spend our whole lives trying to get smarter. But what if being insanely smart is actually the exact thing ruining your life? It sounds crazy, but people with extremely high IQs share a really strange psychological pattern. They can solve problems most of us can't even comprehend. They see patterns we completely miss. But behind closed doors, they're often more anxious, more prone to burnout, and strangely lonely. Why would a brain that runs faster than everyone else's struggle with things that seem basic to the rest of the world? It turns out there's a psychological trade-off and a strange glitch in how genius-level brains actually experience reality. Once you notice it, the pattern starts appearing everywhere. Picture this. Your brain is basically a web browser, but you have 50 tabs open, a video playing in the background, and the music won't stop. All the time. For highly intelligent people, thinking isn't just something they do, it's a mechanism that never fully shuts off. Not during quiet moments, not when they're trying to relax, and definitely not when they're trying to sleep. Because their brains constantly absorb and analyze raw information, a normal interaction can feel very different to them. What you experience as a casual conversation, their brain experiences as something closer to a layered strategic puzzle. While someone else is simply chatting, their mind is automatically scanning. Why did their tone shift slightly just now? Was that sarcasm or discomfort? Is that story completely accurate? How does this connect to that article I read yesterday? None of this is deliberate. It's just their default setting. And after a full day of it, it can be mentally exhausting. Psychologists sometimes describe extreme intelligence as an overthinking engine, because a brain powerful enough to imagine every positive outcome is also powerful enough to simulate every possible problem. The same brain that solves complex problems can also create complex worries. A tiny mistake suddenly expands into a massive chain reaction. Say you send a text message that sounds slightly awkward. Instantly, your mental wiring starts running worst-case scenarios. Did that sound passive-aggressive? Are they mad at me? Is this going to ruin the entire friendship? Most people just shrug off a weird text, but a hyper-analytical intellect keeps exploring the disaster. And sometimes the brain keeps spinning through scenarios long after the moment has passed. That same mind that can solve incredibly intricate problems can also become incredibly skilled at imagining things going wrong. And that's where the psychological trade-off begins. Over time, this constant analysis changes the way someone sees the world. They begin noticing patterns everywhere, tiny shifts in body language, inconsistencies in stories, hidden flaws in the way the world works. Imagine being fascinated by big questions about psychology, philosophy, or the future of humanity, while the people around you just want to talk about weekend plans, or noticing problems in systems that everyone else simply accepts. When your mind constantly jumps ahead of the conversation, social interaction can start to feel strangely slow. Not because others lack intelligence, but because your brain is operating on a different processing speed, and that difference can quietly create distance. Maybe you've experienced something like this. You're sitting in a room full of people. Everyone's talking, laughing, sharing stories, but inside your head, something feels slightly disconnected, like you're observing the conversation instead of fully being inside it. Or maybe it happens late at night. You're lying in bed, while your brain keeps jumping between ideas, questions, and possibilities, and the world around you seems peacefully asleep. Moments like that create a strange realization. Thinking differently can sometimes feel like living differently. Because of this distance, society has built a completely false stereotype about geniuses. We assume they're cold, robotic, emotionally detached. But psychology research reveals something very different. Extreme intelligence often comes with a psychological trait called overexcitability. Basically, it means their nervous system is dialed up to 11.
everything is processed at a much higher volume. A needle dropping on a vinyl record, a breathtaking piece of street art, a crowd of people singing in perfect unison. A piece of music hits them harder. A philosophical idea stays in their mind for days. A tragedy on the news feels deeply personal. That stereotype of the emotionless genius, it's mostly a myth. Many highly intelligent people don't feel less than others. They feel so much that sometimes they learn to hide it just to function normally. And this emotional intensity bleeds right into how they view the world. Because the high IQ mind isn't just driven by logic, it's driven by a relentless, almost obsessive curiosity. But not curiosity in the casual sense. Think of it more like a fractal, or a set of Russian nesting doors. You open one answer, and inside are 3 new questions. Solve one mystery, and suddenly deeper ones appear underneath. For these minds, answers don't close doors. They open entire new hallways, which is incredible for discovery. It's exactly how new ideas, inventions, and breakthroughs happen. But mentally, it means the brain rarely reaches a point where it says, "All right, that's enough thinking for today." But here's the important part. This is exactly why extreme intelligence isn't a curse. When someone finally understands how their mind works, that same glitch becomes an advantage. The overthinking that creates anxiety, it's also the engine behind extraordinary problem solving. That emotional intensity, it fuels creativity. The endless curiosity, it's what drives innovation. Every major leap forward in human history, scientific discoveries, technological revolutions, incredible works of art, started inside a mind that refused to accept the simple answer. A mind that saw the world differently than everyone else in the room. Thinking differently isn't a flaw, it's a feature. But no matter how brilliant a mind becomes, it still wants the most basic human experience, to be understood, to know that its unique frequency has a place in this world. So I'm curious, have you ever felt that strange sensation of your brain running 50 tabs at once while everyone else seems perfectly calm? Tell me about your experience in the comments. I read far more of them than you might think. And if this video made you feel a little less alone in your own head today, hit the like button. It helps other curious minds find this conversation. I'll see you in the next one.